We have a call from Fiona in Texas. Hey, Fiona, can you hear us?
Hi.
Hi, Fiona. It's nice to talk to you.
Yeah, it's nice to talk to you too.
What do you got for us today?
Hi. So I'm a trans woman, and I started transitioning, or at least taking hormones, rather recently. But I ran into the problem of being misgendered in public, and I was wondering, is there like a correct way, or at least a more safe way to like correct them?
I'll just mention very briefly that I like what you said there about, I don't know that there is a correct way or a right way of doing it. I think that, being mindful of your surroundings and your, just your energy at the time. Is this something that you want to pursue? Is this something that you have the spoons for? I don't know that you have an obligation to correct people, but I certainly would hope that you would have the opportunity to more often than not. What kinds of recommendations would y'all maybe have for how to do that?
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, for me, it's always a matter of just, is this worth it? Because, there's the feeling of being misgendered, and that sucks. But at the same time, there's also, I'm on my way to work, or, I'm just trying to get through my day. And, my usual way of doing that is just like a quick, like if someone says he, I'll just quick she or her or something like that. Just as a quick speaking up that doesn't interrupt the flow of conversation so much, but it's enough to be there so that if they are willing to pay attention, that they will understand that they've been misgendering me. But if I'm like, out in public, and there's just some, asshole being mean, I'm just going to walk on, because they're not acting in good faith in any case. So they're not going to respond to correction in a positive way,
Yeah, I think that that's critical here, that you are not under any obligation, not to other trans folks, not to society at large, not even to yourself, to correct somebody or to put yourself potentially even in danger, or honestly, even to just feel hassled. Like, you don't need to correct anybody. But I would hope that more often than not that you would feel empowered to do so. And usually the best way to do that might be through something fairly like quick and subtle, so as not to turn it into like this big argumentative clash of whether or not this is right or okay, and just say very simply and plainly, like, oh, that was a mistake. Oh no, actually, or actually in point of fact, or just so you know, so that if people do decide to be jerks about it, you haven't like created this antagonistic atmosphere and they get to be the asshole, and you get to kind of walk away from it should the conversation go that way, which, of course, I'd like to believe that we're building a world where that type of reaction is less and less common. Certainly there is more than enough working its way through state legislatures and through the culture war right now to cast doubt on that hope. But in the long run, I'd like to think that this is going to continue to get easier.
Yeah, I absolutely agree that there shouldn't be no obligation to correct people if they misgender you. If you are misgendered and you want to, there are options. I know one of the situations that comes up sometimes is in the bathroom. We've been having a lot of conversations about what to say if you're misgendered in the bathroom, and I think my favorite at the moment is "I know," and then keep going. And then, right, like just if it, you kind of have to judge each situation independent. Is this somebody who you're never going to see again and it maybe made you feel uncomfortable, but it would be easier for you personally to move on? Or could you say, please use she, her pronouns, or actually I use she, her pronouns. Excuse me, could you use she, her pronouns, please? Or you could say, you know, I'm Fiona. Please use she, her pronouns, whatever it is that is comfortable for you. But you do have a right to be called by the words and pronouns and gendered language that you use. And it is never an obligation to correct someone, but it is something that is okay to do as well.
Yeah, thank you. I think public bathrooms are something I avoid now until I feel more comfortable because it's confusing. And so I typically just wait till I get home.
Yeah, that's very fair to say. And I know that this is not new information to you, Fiona, or really to any trans folks, particularly, well, really any trans folks that are listening. But I guess I just really, really, really want to reiterate this to the rest of the audience. This is such a common experience. And you might think of it as not that big of a deal. Like you just hold it a little bit longer. You just hold it until you get home. But this is something that is causing so many unnecessary medical complications, not to mention just outright fear and terror among so many people who are already marginalized. And I know that it feels very silly that our country has had this like 5-year-long national debate about where trans people are supposed to pee. It feels very silly in a lot of ways, but it's fucking important. And I hope that everybody who is listening to this is mindful and doing what they can do to help change this narrative and to help change this situation. Fiona, I really appreciate you giving us a call tonight, and I hope that we've been able to offer some sort of support for somebody who is just trying to exist in a world that is not especially kind.
Yeah, thank you all. Also, thank you, Tallulah, for offering advice with like voice and helping transgender people especially.
Yeah, of course. I do want to add that there is a much higher risk of UTIs among the trans population, and I think the lack of access to the bathrooms or the avoidance because people aren't sure is a big contributor to that. And so it does need to be resolved so that everyone has access to bathrooms. It's like a basic human right is bathroom access.
It really is.
Thank you, Fiona. We really appreciate your call. Is there anything else you needed to ask?
No, that's all I had. Thank you all.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.